Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Sunday Live where we do a 20 question mock test and a hazard perception demonstration. I'm just trying to get my headphones sorted out. I had some technical issues this morning, so hopefully it goes all right. So, welcome. Hopefully you've had a good weekend so far. I will add, if you've got any questions, type them into the comment section. I'll answer questions about your theory test, your driving lessons, your driving test, anything driving related. I will attempt to answer it for you, but please put a Q semicolon. Your question, I just post it in the comment section. It should be a Q semicolon. It makes it so much easier for me to see it, because once the comments start coming through, it just looks like a comment, not a question. So I'm just setting up my window so I can see what's going on. Reminder to self, put your phone on do not disturb. Let me just do that. I don't know why people text me on a Sunday. They should know I'm live. Right, that's on do not disturb. Right, so let's take a look at any comments that you guys may have. Right, so can't pronounce your name, but I've not seen your name before, so welcome to you first and foremost. 49 out of 50. Passed your theory test, so congratulations on that. Took your time. Yeah, for those of you that are really struggling, especially with reading or learning disability like dyslexia, you can use the voiceover, so I'm glad you done that. And take your time as well. A lot of you are still rushing your theory test, 20-25 minutes, and obviously what the outcome is a fail, and then you're wondering why. But congratulations on passing, and thank you for coming to the live and letting me know how you got on. I appreciate that. You should have done the first one first and then this one, but congratulations anyway. Kindly advice on practical tests. Your instructor would do that. There's no advice I can give you. The waiting time's long. There's not much advice I can give you. Everyone's doing the same techniques, logging on different times of the day, morning, noon, and night. Even the cancellation apps are struggling to find test dates. But like I said, your instructor can advise you more on that more than I can. Yosra, hopefully I'm saying that right, 9262. Not seen your name before, so again, welcome to you. Another pass. Your test is well away, May, so you've got plenty of time. First of all, congratulations, welcome to the channel. There's not much tips I can give you. Your instructor should be giving you this. Or the only thing I would say that I give my students on test day, the night before, just do what you have to do normally. What students tend to do on test night is go to bed early, for example. I want to be fresh. That doesn't work. If you are used to getting 7 hours sleep, you need to get 7 hours sleep. If you start to give your body 8-9 hours when it's not used to it, it's going to wake up tired. So you're going to really be messed up. If you are a caffeine drinker, as in drinking coffee and stuff, drink coffee, but don't go over your normal amount. If you don't drink caffeine, don't start drinking Red Bull. The amount of students that my friends told me to drink Red Bull, it will mess you up. You need to keep your body chemistry the same as it was any other day, because it's going to be changing with the adrenaline, the nerves, the excitement. If you normally have breakfast, have breakfast. If you don't have breakfast, do not have breakfast. Again, it will mess you up. That's the advice I give my students on the day. It's just a normal day. It's just tests where you're going to be nervous. On test day, just do what you've been doing on your driving test, on driving lessons. Again, on test day, I say to my students, it's a driving lesson with a stranger. It's the same stuff. Turn left, turn right, park up on the left, one maneuver, blah, blah, blah. It's no different. You just have to perform on the day in a stressful situation. So don't change anything. But that's the advice I give my students. That's the advice I give you. But you've got plenty of time with May. Come back. Let me know how you are getting on with your lessons. I would appreciate that. Let me know when you pass as well in May. I'm glad the videos have boosted your confidence. I appreciate it. That's what the whole video stuff is about. It's to boost your confidence, make you realize you can do it. You're not on your own. All of you guys are going on the same journey. You have slightly different experiences, but you're all going on the same journey. It's the same struggle. But I'm glad it's boosted your confidence. Let me know when you're tested, because you said upcoming test. Let me know roughly when it is, so I can wish you the best of luck and keep my fingers crossed for you. 21st. That's next week. Next week, Wednesday, something like that. I wish you the best of luck. If you've got any questions, type them in now while we're live. Let me answer it. Send you in there nice and confident. I'm tired. I failed twice by 40 out of 50. So that's 10 questions wrong. Read the data. That's the only thing I can suggest. There's a reason why you're failing the data. If you've done 2 tests and you get 40 out of 50, there's a lack of knowledge. So I would put the 2 paperwork side by sides, look to see if there's a common denominator in the categories you got wrong. If there's common denominator, study those. If it's different categories, there's a lack of knowledge. But if you're failing twice, 40 out of 50, my first impression, not without knowing you, is that you have a lack of understanding. And that's something I'm seeing a lot of in the study camp. Students answering the question totally wrong. And it's lack of understanding. You guys aren't understanding the V question. When we do the 20 question mark, I try to break it down for you, but you're not understanding the question. You're not understanding what the asking. You're not understanding the answer. And that's what I'm seeing more and more of, working with you guys on the personal level in the study camp. Right, so what I'm going to do is just do a quick overview of the theory test, like I always do. Good morning to you. Don't know why I did that. So am I reading this right? No problem, you're welcome. Good morning to you. First time joining your live channel. Good to be here. I'm glad you are here. Hopefully you learned something and want to come back. Again, if you've got any questions, please type it into the comment section. That's what the live's about. It's about me trying to help you personally, rather than just giving a generic answer that covers everybody. Right, so let me do an overview. So let me just quickly do this, because it's a quick question. Are there any new updates to the theory test? I have my exam coming up on the 14th. Right, I got an email about 2 weeks ago from the DVSA. Just in case you don't know, I am a licensed trainer from the DVSA. I can use their training material and I get information in advance. They have no plans to update the theory test at this point in time. So the way the theory test is the way it's going to be at this point in time for this quarter. So if your test is on Valentine's Day, if your test is on the 14th or coming up anytime soon in this quarter, there is no planned changes. It is what it is. Obviously, there is. I'll do a video and I'll announce it on the live. Also, if you're using the 4-in-1 or any licensed apps, let me put it that way rather than 4-in-1, any licensed apps, and you're paying for it, if it's updated, the apps update immediately, because like I said, we get the information in advance so we can change our training materials. At this point, you're good with the way the apps are, if that's what you are using. All right, so like I said, let me do an overview first, because I don't want to assume that you guys know how theory tests work, because you'd be surprised how many people book a test and then come to me and say, I don't know where to start. The question is, why did you book a test in the first place? But anyway, that's another story. So let me get rid of this first. Multiple choice is 50 questions, just in case you didn't know. The questions are made up or drawn from 14 different categories. Now, let me just quickly explain, because this is common when people are coming in for the training with me. They do the apps and go for the real test, fail it once, twice, and then come to me and said the questions are worded differently. The app questions are sample questions. As I said, as licensed trainers, licensed apps, we get the sampled question, otherwise training questions from the DVSA directly. They're sampled, they're training questions to give you an idea of how the questions will be worded. There are 770 odd questions at this point in time on any one app. When you go for the real test, the questions are going to be worded differently, because the apps are sampled. The real test is the real test, so it's going to be sampled. So what they're trying to say to you on the apps is understand the question. That's why I keep saying that a lot. Understand the questions, understand the answers. Because when you go for the real test, no matter how they worded, the understanding's there, and that's why you should pass. There's over 1,500 real questions, so the app doesn't even cover half of it. So that's the difference. So when you guys go for the real test, expect to see the questions worded differently. Expect to see questions that you have never ever seen before. But I repeat, if you studied properly, understand it properly, it doesn't make a difference how they want to spin it. You're going to come to the right answer anyway. Time wise, you got 57 minutes to do it. You need 43 out of 50 to pass, and you've got to do that in 57 minutes. As I said, one of the common reasons why I see students fail in my study camp anyway is because they're doing it in 2025. I've got the data. I can see how they studied, when they studied, how long they studied for. I can even see the questions they got wrong. They are doing it in 25 minutes. When we have the progress sessions on Wednesdays and Saturdays, that's the common chat. I'm always trying to tell people, do not do 25-minute mock tests. It makes no sense. Not with a positive outcome. If you want to fail, yeah, by all means, rush it 25 minutes. And also, when you guys go to study, this an hour and a half, 2 hours studying is ridiculous. The theory test is the 57 minutes. So the question is, why are you studying for more than 57 minutes? The sweet spot is 45 to an hour. That's the sweet spot. Once you get to an hour, stop. Take a break. If you want to go back and do another session, fine. But take a 20-minute to half an hour break in between. Some of you are studying for an hour and a half, 2 hours. The reason why the theory test is 57 minutes is because that's all your brain can do, and before it crashes and burns. Once you go over that, everything coming in doesn't stay. Can some people study for an hour and a half? Yes, but some people, not all. And the majority of you are doing that. 15-20-minute studying is better than an hour and a half studying. Quality over quantity is what you're looking for. Common sense. Some of the questions, you just have to use common sense. I'll give an example. One's about that comes up a lot. How should you avoid wheel spin on icy conditions? And I've got people using brake repeatedly. What's the other one? Use a low gear. Low gear is power gear. When the answer says drive slowly, if you was walking in ice and snow, what would you do? Would you go fast? Would you run and stop? Or would you walk slowly? But they're missing the obvious. Walk slowly, drive slowly, so you don't get wheel spin. So use common sense when you're doing the question, especially when you don't know the answer, because you can apply some of your own personal knowledge, i.e. walking in snow slowly, as opposed to walking in fast, if that makes sense. So use common sense on that. Hazard perception is videos. I will do a demonstration at the end of all of this, so you guys are still failing on hazard perception. 14 videos, 13 of them have single hazards. One of them's got a double, which scored 2 5s. You need 44 out of 75 with that. But as I said, when I come to that section, I'll go through and break it down how to beat the system. In terms of answers, what are you looking for? Safety. The driving test is about safety and control. The theory test is about safety and control. Your answer has to lead to safety. If it doesn't lead to safety, then you're looking for a controlled outcome. Normally your motorway questions and maybe first aid questions, it's going to be a controlled outcome in that situation. If you want help, I'm getting a lot of texts, WhatsApps, emails. I failed my theory test X amount of times, blah, blah, help me. I do not do individual learning anymore. Just haven't got the time. So I do it as a study camp. So if you want help, this is where you need to join the study camp, where you get help. I monitor your progress. As I said, I can see when you studied, how long you studied for, the questions you're getting wrong. Because you're registered on my Theory Test Pro account, it gives me access to how you are studying. So that's the where you want to join if you want help. As an individual, I don't do it anymore. I just haven't got the time to help individual students. In terms of as a group, I'll give you all the time in the world because that's my job. Right, so let's see what you guys are saying before we go on to the mock test. Good morning. Thank you very much. First of all, I'm not seeing your name before, so welcome to the live. Appreciate you breaking the silence and letting me know that you passed. Congratulations. And good luck with the driving. I think I've done that one before somehow, somewhere. Join the study camp. Where you're going to get help. I will add the study camp. It's going to go up in price next month. So get in while it's the price it is at the moment. Good morning to you. Good morning. First time joining your channel. I have my fairy test booked 31st of March. That's a long way away. But enough time to study, enough time to tweak anything you need to tweak. I'm here every Sunday, so if you've got, this is for all of you, while you are studying during the week, you got any issues, write them down, bring it to the Sunday. This is what this is about. It's about me trying to help you with your personal problems rather than a generic problem across the board. Again, first timer, 21st of Jan, which is next week, I believe. Kalechi, good morning to you. My test is on the first week of Feb. That's my birthday, so I wish you luck with that. That's a couple of weeks away as well, so you're not too far off. I appreciate that. Good morning to you. Good morning. Right, let me start. I'm new here, Harriet. First of all, welcome to the live session. And if you've got any questions, drop it in the chat. So let's start this mock test. So let's see how you get on. And I'll show you what I'm talking about, breaking it down if the question comes up. I can't pick the questions, it's random. But if the questions come up, I'll show you how to break it down, look for clues. So let's get rid of this. Right. So for those of you that are new, what we do is read the question first. When may you drive over a pavement? And then look at your four options. This is A. You're not cutting okay. This is A, this is B, this is C, this is D. Please put the question number. Let me put it down so you can see the question number. Put the question number and then whatever you think the answer is. The reason being is a delay between me and YouTube, you and YouTube. So I want to make sure you take an effort to type the answer in. I like to show it where possible. Let me get a better cursor up so you can see exactly where I'm pointing. So while I'm doing this, feel free to type your answer into the comments section. Trying to find my cursor now. Can't see a thing. I don't know what that is. It's not working. All right, no worries. Let's take a look. So I'm just trying to find the first one. There's lots of you here. How many of you here? Wow, 84 already. I appreciate you guys being in there on the Sunday morning, by the way. Giving up your Sunday. Could be lying in bed or going to church. Here we go. Let's get rid of that one. Sorry, let me change to this scene. Right, most of you going for D. I'm going to pull it up, but please type the question. The only reason I'm putting it up because I know we're on the first one. Moving forwards, it won't go up. Please put the question number plus the letter of choice. Someone's gone for a B. That's wrong straight away because the common answer is D. Wow, there's lots of you just typing out. Someone's gone for an F. We ain't even got an F on there. Again, lots of you not putting a question number. Attention to detail. That's what the fairy test is about. It's about paying attention to detail. If you can't put the question number now when I've told you to, ask yourself why you're failing the fairy test. D is what you guys gone for. Yeah, to gain access, obviously you're driving over the pavement to get into your property and out of your property. So that's the only time you're allowed to do that. Or if they tell you you can by having the P on a post where you can park up on the pavement. That's another question in the rule test, which you guys don't know about. An injured motorcyclist is lying unconscious in the road. The traffic has stopped and there's no further danger. What could you do to help? I'm glad that helped you out, the 2-click methods. 21st, I wish you the best of luck with that. Again, you got any questions, then now is the time to type it in while we are live. Let me help you out. I don't do the bootcamp. The bootcamp link is still out there. I'm trying to find out where that bootcamp link is so I can get rid of it. You're better off joining the study camp, which is what I've shown. I put the link in the description. The reason why you're better off joining the study camp is I see your live scores as you practice on the Theory Test Pro, and you can join the live workshops anytime that you want. The workshops run from Monday to Thursday, 4:30 to 6:30. If you can't make it, it's recorded, and we have live review sessions where you come in and I can talk to you live, show you mistakes live. The boot camp, the difference between the study camp and the boot camp is 1 week session. So you join Monday to Thursday, 4:30 to 6, and that's your lot. You have email support, but that's your lot. Whereas the study camp, you have ongoing support until you pass. So if you failed in March, I believe your test is in March, and it didn't go according to plan in March, you come back and we go again. Because now we've got data. You failed it, I'll see the results, and I build a plan for you to build up to the next one. So the study camp is better for you rather than the boot camp. Because I'm actually going to withdraw the support with the boot camp at this precise moment. I just can't find the link because on old videos, because people are still booking the boot camp. But it's ongoing. So if you join the boot camp, you can literally join any session that you want starting from tomorrow. If you sign up today, you can join tomorrow when I go do the live session Monday, 4:30. Right, so we're number 2. I think that's the first one. I'm not getting that, or maybe I missed a comment further on. Right, some of you are going for C's and B's. Right, I'm assuming the comment of too close is between B and C. God, there's so many of you just typing it out. I'll give you guys respect in joining the live, as in typing out your answers. I've got a D here as well. It's still going. All right. All right, let's take a look at what we're talking about. Let's break it down. Right, so we are here. An injured motorcyclist lying unconscious in the road. So let me just give you info, because there's a lot of stuff, information. This is how you want to break it down, right? And this is why you can't do your test in 25 minutes. You want to take the information in. So the theory test gives you, sometimes when people say it's a tricky question, it's not a tricky question. If it's a lot of stuff like this, the DVSA on the real questions, they give you background information. So the background information is an injured motorcyclist is lying unconscious in the road. So you know he's unconscious, you know he's in the road. The traffic has stopped. There's no further danger. So that's the background information. Believe it or not, this is the question. What could you do to help? It seems like all of this is the question. This is background information where you can see my cursor moving on. So right up to the danger bit, that's background information. The question is, what could you do to help? Some of you went for B, some of you went for C, some of you went for D. So let me break it down. Remove the leather jacket. It's never going to be that. So get rid of that. Remove their safety helmet. It's a possibility. Seek medical assistance. Now that's the safest option, because first of all, he's unconscious, lying in the road. There's no further danger. Again, background information. No further danger. Leave them where they are. Make that 999 call. So it's going to be that one. I don't even have to go to D, but I'll go to D because someone did move the person off the road. The reason why you don't move them off the road, because there's no further danger. And that's what I mean about breaking the question, then understanding the question. I repeat, all this information here, the top line, the one down to further danger, is what we call background information. Now the question is, what could you do to help? And how to help them is to seek medical assistance in that one. So hopefully that helps you guys moving forward with your studying. A single carriageway road has this sign: what's the maximum permitted speed for a car towing a trailer? So let me just go through some of these. Good morning, everybody. It's just saying hello to you. Question: how can I use the 4-in-1 app to prepare for my practical test? If you mean your driving test, there's driving videos in there now. That's why I recommend it. It's getting better and better with each month, to be honest. They're adding more driving videos in there. So just watch the driving videos, the simulations, they're giving you advice, giving you tips, and that gives you a head start for your driving lessons with your instructor. So yeah, I think you may have to subscribe to the videos, but it's worth it. No problem, you are welcome. Thank you. I've not seen your name before, so appreciate you coming to the live and let me know how you got on. Could you kindly do a quick explanation on traffic signs with trams? It's confusing to me. Traffic signs with trams. Let me come back to that. Good morning to you. Do you encourage reading all categories before starting? Yes. Because if you don't, you got no knowledge. Let's just say you've never studied before, nothing about the theory, you go into a mock test, there's going to be answers you don't know. The mock test is drawn from those 14 categories. So even if you studied 5 categories and then thought, you know what, let me do a mock test, for example, you still got 9 categories you don't know the answers to. So you're going to fail mock test, so you don't get a true reflection. If you do all the categories, all 14, then you take a mock test, it's now going to show you your strengths and your weaknesses. So obviously, if you're getting failing mock tests or getting road sign questions wrong a lot, you now know you need to go back to study road signs. So yeah, do categories. It's like trying to find your way to 100 miles away. You don't know which bus, cab, whatever it is to take. You have to have the knowledge first so you know where you're going to. If you don't have the knowledge, you don't know where you're going. You're just going in the dark. So that's the reason why. And you will also, not only that, the app is not designed to answer all 770 odd questions. It would literally just take some of your weaknesses, if that makes sense, and keep throwing up those questions. So you're not exposed to all 777. I repeat, the questions on the app are sample questions that the DVSA release out, so you get a taster of what the real test is like. If you don't do the categories, you may be only exposed to 400 questions. You're already 300 questions down, plus the other questions in the real test of 1,500. So you want to expose yourself to every single question, every single answer, so you have a better chance of passing. Test is on the 17th of February. Got a little while away as well. So it's almost a month. Today's the 18th, so you're almost a month, 4 weeks. Got more than enough time with that. And I wish you luck with it, by the way. Francis. A long time. We need to catch up. I don't know what's happening with you. I think you're supposed to be sending me an email as well. I don't think I've received an email if you have sent it, but talk to me. Because you've got the support there. Oh, you passed it anyway. Well done. You got 43 out of 50. If you was my student, I'd be saying study those categories. But you know what? You passed it because I know you've been going through a lot and you haven't been coming to our classes. So for you to get that without coming to our class on a regular basis, because you was one of the regular students in the beginning. But send me an email. Let's have a conversation and let me give you some after support. with this and try to help you with your driving lessons. 'Cause I need to know what's going on with, sorry, Francis is one of my students. That's the reason why. So yeah, send me an email. Do the email that's dedicated to the students, not the public email. The public email is info@Driving Ferry UK. Send it to the student email, then it comes directly to me so I can see it, and then we can talk and sort something out for your future. But well done to you. Congratulations, I'm proud of you. Sorry, number 3. Let's do 3s. Francis passed his test. Wow. Amazing. 3. Someone's gone for a C. C. You guys are split between B's and C's. It's weird. Yeah, I only do live on a Sunday. Family permitting. My test on the 28th. It's next week sometime. Saturday? No, it's not. 25. Week after next. So you got a little bit of time. You've got another live. Right. What's the question? A single carriageway road has... For car, all you got to do is see car towing a trailer. Car towing a trailer. It's single. 60 miles an hour for a car. 50 miles an hour is the answer. Some of you went for B. 60. It's 60 without towing. You're missing this bit here. It's 60 for a car normally, but once you start towing stuff, it's drop it by 10, so it's 50. What does this curved arrow road marking mean? Because it's worded weird. They're talking about this here. Well, let's get some of these comments out of the way. If you're getting 41 or 42, again, what I would suggest is that you put the paperwork side by side, see if there's a common category coming up on a regular basis. But to be honest, if your scores are staying roughly the same, 41, it's a lack of knowledge. That's why it's not improving. Subconsciously, you're memorizing answers. That's why your score's not getting any better. If you're improving your understanding, your score goes up. But if you're kind of just trying to remember answers, and I'm not saying you're doing it deliberately, it's just subconsciously, you see the same questions that you keep getting wrong and you just memorize the answer, but you don't understand why the answer's wrong. That's the most important thing. Not why the answer's right. You want to understand why you are picking the wrong answer. And once you understand that, the brain eliminates that from the process, our brain learns. And then it starts to recognize why the answer's correct. And then your score improves. But you're not doing that based on that. But like I said, I don't know you, but I have to go through what I know from the last 10 years of teaching the ferry. You're not improving your understanding. That's why the score's the same. So pretty much, unless all the questions are kind of lined that you know, you're not going to pass your ferry test. And it's not what you want to hear. It's not going to pass your ferry test anytime soon unless you improve the understanding of the questions you're getting wrong. That's what you want to do. Hopefully that makes sense. You are welcome. It's from Southwark. Yeah, get it booked to work towards it. If you don't set the goal before you know it, the summer months are going to be here. Good morning to you. You are welcome. I don't know about being the best, but you are welcome. Pass my vote. No problem, you are. Well, thank you for coming to the live. I've not seen your name before, so welcome to the live, first of all. Thank you for breaking the silence. From Morocco, live in Manchester. I'm glad you passed 45. 63 has perception. Well done. That's a high score. So well done to you. Yeah, I've done that one. Always read the categories. All right, let's go back to what we're doing now. Fours. Lots of fours. Here we are. Someone's gone for a C. I got to go with the majority here. So I'm assuming B is correct. Why don't you just type the number in rather than the whole answer? I'll have a B on that. Right, there's B's on this one, so let's take a look. What does error mean? B. Let's go for that. What was C? Heavy vehicles should take the next road on the left to avoid. Someone's gone for a C. Why would you go for this one? Anyway, yeah, it's B. What should you do when leaving your vehicle parked and unattended? I'm not sure what that means. I must have missed the first comment if there's a second one, because that's 25, 45. It means nothing to me. So I'm not sure what that means on there. If you can type what you mean by that, or retype the comment that I may have missed. That's what I said, put a cute semicolon so I know what you're talking about. I'm assuming it's not a question, it's just a comment. Well, what are we on? 5. Let's try to find the 5s. When are the results of the theory test released after the test? Yeah, as soon as you click out of the hazard perception, it prints the paperwork straight away. So by the time you get to the reception desk, they confirm who you are. They should give it to you face down, folded up and face down. Obviously, when you walk in, you turn it over. Look for your name, and it should say congratulations underneath. Obviously, you passed it. If it says I'm sorry to say, then you failed it. Then what you do is scroll down even more. It will tell you the categories of questions you got wrong, if that's what you failed on. It won't tell you the question you got wrong, it just tells you the category of questions you got wrong. And if it's a hazard perception, it gives you a breakdown of all your videos, how many you scored at your double, your fives, fours, threes, and so on and so on. So like I said, that's why it's data. Some of you are throwing it away. Then how do you improve if you don't know what you failed on? If that makes sense. So yeah, you get the results there and then. With the driving test as well, you get the result there and then as well. So when you come back, the examiner tells you whether you passed or not in the car. There's no waiting. You literally know exactly what your next step is when you come out of the building or come out of the car. But as much as, if you fail the theory test, as much as it's disappointing, keep the paperwork. It's data. You need it. That's how improvements work. That's why I said failing, especially when you're doing mock tests at home. If you're failing mock tests, it's not the end of the world. It's about improving. It shows you your strengths. It shows you your weaknesses. But if you keep passing everything, you don't know what you're good at. All you know that you can do whatever it was that particular time. You need to fail sometimes to know, to be a better person, if you like. A theory test is no different, but you want to do your failing at home, as in the mock test, and then you now go for the real test and pass it, hopefully. Right, most of you are going for B. Yeah, lock it and remove the car. You don't want to leave the car running. So, in other words, I don't want to run to the corner shop with the car running just to get something quickly, because by that time, someone jumps in, drives off. What type of vehicle displays... Oh, that's a new question. Worded differently. What type of vehicle displays this yellow sign? It's normally, where would you see this yellow sign? Life as a UK student. I don't think I've seen your name before, but welcome to you. First of all, congratulations on passing. I'm not a big fan of binge and cramming, but you did it over a month, which is not a bad time scale to be 30 days, is what I always say is the sweet spot for taking a theory test. But yeah, congratulations, by the way. Yeah, so what are you up to now? You're going to take driving lessons as a UK student? Remember, if you've got any questions, type them in about your theory test or driving test as well. But asking me about how to get a driving test is pointless, because like I said, everyone's doing the same thing. So I've got no magic wand with that. I'm the same as you guys, trying to get tests for my students. But that waiting list has been so long. Right, mostly you've gone for a school. Yes, a school bus, so simple as that. Where's the safest place to park your vehicle at night? You're going to take driving lessons. I got a funny feeling, are you doing manual or automatic? I got a funny feeling you're doing automatic. Let me know if you're doing manual or automatic. Your avatar just looks like you're going to take an automatic lesson. You keep typing the same question over and over. I've answered your question. I said to you, read the apps. The 4-in-1 has driving videos. Watch the driving videos. You may have to pay for it, subscribe to it, but you take as driving lessons. You keep typing it in. So I've answered it again. So hopefully that will stop you from typing it in again and again and again. Right, sevens. I wasn't taking you literally, because you said 30 days. So you said, sorry, you didn't say 30 days, you said over a month. Over a month is good. Like I said, because I run a 30-day study camp. A month is a sweet spot for studying for the theory test. Like I said, some of you are studying for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. At some point, you have to take one. 30 days is a nice spot for studying, providing you're going to do, and I don't mean every single day. That's what I'm saying. 30 days is good, so you can take a break, so you can study every other day. But it has to be quality studying, not 2, 3, 4 hours at a time. As I mentioned, an hour, 45 minutes to an hour is a sweet spot for studying without interruptions. Because some of you, I know some of you, again, in our classes, we've got mothers who just 1-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 6 months, not 6-year-olds, 1 month, 12-month, year-old. Let's try again. A 6-month toddler or year-old toddler studying, you've got to try to do it when they're asleep. I know when they're sleeping, you should be sleeping as a mother, but you've got to try and do it. You can't do it when a child's on your lap, because you need to take the information in and the understanding. So 30 days is a sweet spot. So I wasn't taking you literally when a UK student, because you did say you binged, but you've done it over a month. Like I said, it's a sweet spot. Quality studying is always better. over time. Right, 7A is what you guys are going for. Yeah, in the garage, lock it up. So they've got to break in, then get into the car. That's the safest place. When are you not allowed to sound your vehicle's horn? Keisha Thompson, congratulations, passing the theory test, first attempt. You are welcome with the videos. Just 87, still coming through. Yeah, I thought so. You just look like a person doing automatic. There's nothing wrong with it, by the way, but your avatar just makes me think, automatic. Yeah, but I wish you luck with that anyway. No problems doing automatic. I'm a manual driving instructor, so that's the reason why. Got nothing against automatic students, by the way, or automatic driving lessons. You do what's right for you. Simples. Can you... The study camp link is in the description. I'll do it now because I've got a thing to do that. I dropped it in the comment section, so it's there. With that. Why do you want to join as soon as possible? Have you got a date? Sandra, I'm going to call you Sandra. Have you got a date booked, Sandra, already? Hi there, how are you? Someone's gone for a C. Right, D is the common one. D is common. It is between 11:30 and 7 a.m. 11:30 p.m. 7 a.m. When should you use the right-hand lane of a 3-lane dual carriageway? All right, let's have some comments on that. Let me see this. Francis. I didn't get the email, Francis. I know you sent a message via the Ferry Test Pro app, but that's not the way we communicate unless it's very related. I didn't get the email, so if you can send it again. But remember, send it to the student email, not the public email, because it's public. Obviously, that's a long list. Student emails normally get responded within 24 hours. So if you did send it, I didn't see it for whatever reason. When we finish live, I'll go on there because I've got to go in and check something. So I'll check in. But I'd rather you send it again so it's at the top rather than somewhere near the bottom. And I will go with that, go from there. And you want to book your driving test as soon as possible. That's down to your instructor. But like I said, send me the email. We can have a conversation and I may be able to steer you somewhere along the line. Cause I don't even know what area you're based in either. But send me the email again, please. That's easier. Rather than me searching through all student emails from the week. I did my test. Right, so you got the questions. So one thing I will say with that is with the questions, that's the worst way to fail, to be fair. If a student fails, it sounds weird. I'd rather a student fail on the questions because it's 1,500 questions to choose from. But failing on the hazard perception, the hazard is a hazard, regardless of what video it is a hazard. So with you failing on the hazard perception, especially by 3, 44, you failed by 3, you don't know what hazard is. That's the reason why you failed it. But the question knowledge is solid because you've passed it, but don't neglect it, because when you go back for another test, it's a different 50 questions. So keep the knowledge up and understanding up for the questions, because what most students do when they fail the hazard and passing the questions, they park the questions to one side, then study the hazard perception, pass the hazard perception next time around, but fail the questions. Keep the knowledge going with that. But if you stick around to the ends, I'll do a hazard perception demonstration. If you can't stick, watch the replay. All the live videos now, I tend to do a demonstration, so you can watch any one of them, and hopefully that will help you as well. And we are on 9. Let me find the 9s. I think that's the first one. So I've got a D and an A straight out. I've got another N. So you guys are mixed on this. Interesting. It looks like H just have the edge, but you guys are still saying D's. Look, there's a D here. Okay, interesting. All right, let me, we've got a C here. All right, let me break this down. When should you use the right-hand lane of a 3-lane dual carriageway? So they told you it's 3 lanes, and the key here is dual carriageway, not a motorway. A dual carriageway, the definition of a dual carriageway is a central reservation or crash barrier in the middle. But the difference between a motorway and a dual carriageway is the right-hand lane, which is the question they're asking. On a motorway, the right-hand lane is only for overtaking. On the dual carriageway, it's for overtaking and turning right. So that's the one you want to be looking for. So when you're overtaking or turning right is what you're looking for with this one. Yeah, with D, that's a motorway. So again, read the question carefully on the real test. If it's dual carriageway, it's overtaking and turning right. If it's a motorway, then it's only overtaking. Can't turn right on a motorway. Your vehicle breaks down on a motorway and you need to call for help. Why might it be better to use an emergency roadside telephone rather than a mobile phone? So how to join your course, let me know, please. The link is in the description. I'll drop it again so you can see it, so it's fresh, so you don't have to go through it. It's in the description. I liked the way you explained. I failed, got 40, but 65 on the hazard. I don't know whether I should manual or automatic. Is that 2 separate questions, or is that the way you've worded that? I don't know if you want to do automatic or manual because you failed the theory test, or you're telling me you failed the theory test and you don't know whether to do manual or automatic. First of all, let's deal with the question side of it. 65 has perception, amazing. That's 10 short of the max, so your hazard perception's spot on. 40 out of 50, that's 10 questions wrong. That's going to be what, 6 to 7 categories wrong. So that's a lack of knowledge. You just need to get your knowledge up with that. In terms of manual automatic, I can't advise you on that one because it's personal. But the general advice that I would give, if you are in the young age category, I would go for a manual. The reason why I say that, because you don't know where your life's going to take you. Because if you get job opportunities where you have to get a company vehicle, it's normally manual. That's the reason why. If you're older, got family, blah, 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 then you're pretty much stuck in your ways. Automatic is not going to be a problem. But I would always advise young students to do manual because you can drive both. If you're older and you've already got your life kind of planned out, your family, kids, blah, 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 all the rest of it, then automatic is not going to be a big deal. But that's the general advice I give you. But outside of that, it's personal. Me, I'm biased. I'm always going to say manual. UK student goes. I appreciate the recommendation. Thank you for the kind words. I have my 2-time text on. That's the way it's worded. My dyslexia can't deal with that. I have my 2-time text. I'm assuming you mean my second test on Tuesday. I missed 1 mark for the multiple choice 4260. There you're going wrong. First of all, you're saying I missed it by 1. You didn't. You got 8 questions wrong. And the reason why you want to be thinking about 8 questions wrong is because it's the way the brain thinks and the way the brain works. By saying you've got 8 questions wrong, it seems like there's a bit more work to do. When you say I missed it by 1, you're only going to study to get the 1 right. So you will study less. You just don't realize it. Like I said, it's subconscious. And if you got 8 questions wrong, that's at least 5 categories. But you got your test on Tuesday. If you've got any questions that you need to be answered, now is the time to do it while we are live with that. But yeah, if you guys fail the theory test, don't look at it as 1 short, 2 short, because the brain automatically thinks, well, all I've got to do is get 2 next time. And what most of you tend to do is come home, book another test straight away, because that's the way the brain thinks. If you got 42, for example, you got 8 questions wrong, the brain now thinks, oh, there's a bit more work to do. And you're going to take your time to do that work. Notice I'm talking a lot about the brain because sometimes you guys are failing, not because of the studying, it's because the way the brain works. You're not doing the right thing for the brain to do what it needs to do. So yeah, that's the reason why when you hear me talk a lot about the brain, it's a psychological thing. I go a little bit deeper than most people when it comes to studying and taking driving lessons. Because if the brain's relaxed and stress-free, it studies and holds information better. Right, so I think you guys all agree on this one. It's all B's so far. Oh, got a C here. Right, B's, what's the question? Yeah, if you use their phone, they can spot your location, but where you use your own mobile, then it's harder to give them your location. Especially, I think there's where they say, yes, a motorway. It's hard to find people on the motorway, but use the location phone or the emergency phone. What should you do when you're approaching roadworks on a motorway? What should you do when you approach roadworks on the motorway? Not seen that question before. When do you have sessions on hazard perception, please? I don't have sessions on hazard perception. I do it at the end of a live session. So after the 20 question mock test is when I do a demonstration on that. If you're talking about in the study camp, I do a demonstration. We talk about hazard perception, road signs, motorways on Tuesday because it's all linked. So I'll do hazard perception demonstration on a Tuesday, and we can do hazard perception in the live sessions we do on Wednesdays and at the weekends. But if you're talking about in terms of this is at the end of the 20 questions. First of all, I've not seen your name before, so welcome to you. There's a lot of stuff in your name, so I can't even work that out. Dyslexia. Just call it always. I can work that first bit out. Congratulations on passing, by the way. 46 out of 50. And 62 has perception. Really a good score, so well done. And thank you for coming to like. I definitely haven't seen your name before. 11. Right, so looking down on this, it's all C's, which means you guys agree. let's start out and come back to that. Got B there twice. Right, C's the common answer. Obey the speed limit. That's a weird way of wording that. Yeah, obey the speed should be obeying the speed limit anyway, not because it's roadworks. But yeah, it's the way it's worded. You're waiting to come out of a side road. Why should you look carefully for motorcyclists? You are welcome. Long time to the well done to you for passing. Again, I appreciate you coming to the live and let me know how you got on. On the 31st, end of the month, there's sometime next week or so. Not next week, the week after, sorry. So you've got a little bit of a time there using the app you recommended watching your videos. Well, hopefully it's helping. If it's not, type the questions in the comment section so we can send you into the test nicely prepared. Again, I think you guys will agree on this. All A's. Yeah, they could be easily hidden. Where should you avoid overtaking? So where should you avoid overtaking? No problem, you're welcome. As I said, it's all about doing the categories, because if you don't have the full knowledge, how can you do a full mock test? So do the categories first. It's very easy to start with the theory test, which most people want to do, and then go straight into a mock test after mock test. You're not really learning anything that way. Like I said, you want to learn the individual categories. As I keep saying in the videos, you need this knowledge for your driving test anyway. So most of you just see this as passing it as a means to book a driving test. You shouldn't be doing that. You should be using this to understand what driving's about. And then you pass anyway. And then you go and take your driving test. Hopefully you pass your driving test first time, because the knowledge is going to be strong from the theory test. So yeah, always study the categories. It may seem like it's a longer way to do it, but think about it. Take longer and pass first time rather than do short and take 2, 3, 4 times, which is going to cost you more in the long run. But thank you for the comment anyway, I appreciate that. 13. Are we up? Let me just say hi to Lydia. She said hi, popped in. 13. I've got C's and D's already. But C seems to be the common answer. So, I've got a D here. So I've got to assume C is correct. I've got A. No, I've got the last couple of A's there, that's weird. All right, let's take a look. Break it down. Where should you avoid? What did I have? A's, C's, and D's. Let me break it down each one so you understand why the answer is what it is. Where should you avoid overtaking? Some of you went for A, just after a bend. If it's after a bend, it's on a straight road. Listen, read the answer just after a bend, which means the road is now straight. So that's the best place to overtake because it's straight, you can see. So that's why it's not that one. On the dual carriageway, you don't need to avoid overtaking the dual carriageway because again, the road is straight. We already had a question where with the right-hand lane, you can overtake and turn right. So that's legal and not dangerous. Approaching a dip in the road is going to be this one because a dip in the road, you can't see what's on the other side. So you're going to overtake and you can't see what's on the other side. That's why it's that one. One-way street, safe to overtake on a one-way street. So that's why it's C. Again, one-way street, they're assuming it's straight. And I'll give another little tip as well. They don't tell you this. On the questions with one-way roads, one-way street, you got to see it's 3 lanes. They don't tell you that it's 3 lanes unless they're going to put 2 lanes. So one with a one-way street question with 2 lanes. But outside of that, if it hasn't got lanes in it, you have to assume the one-way dual carriageways, motorways has 3 lanes. They don't tell you that in the question. At an incident, it's important to look after any casualties. What should you do with them when the area is safe? I have my test on the 28th. I'm assuming you mean this month. I'll have my test on the 28th. It's not about how whether you. It's not about whether you do 1 mock test or has a perception a day. That makes no difference. You can do 2 or 3 a day. It's a question of whether you're learning from any mistakes on the day. So that's not the way to look at it. If you're doing a mock test, for example, and let's just for argument's sake, you got 46 out of 50, so you passed it. Are you learning what the 4 questions that you got wrong is? If the answer is yes, then fine. If the answer is no, then you're doing it in the wrong way. So like I said, it's easy to do mock test, pass it. Oh, I passed. Let me do another one. The next day, passed. But are you learning from the questions you got wrong? Unless you're getting 50 out of 50, are you learning from the questions you got wrong? So that's how I would look at it. You're doing the right thing, don't get me wrong, but I don't know what you're doing with the result. That's what I can't answer because you haven't said. So I repeat, if you're learning from the mistakes, yes, that's fine. But if you're not, learn from the mistakes. Hazard perception test. Again, like I said, I don't really go too deep in teaching my students hazard perception because once I teach it, demonstrate it, they know what a hazard is. A hazard is a hazard. It doesn't change from video to video. It's just a different hazard in a different video. That's all it is. But the questions obviously keep changing. But if it's working for you and you're passing and you're understanding why, then there's not a problem at all. No problems whatsoever. But I wish you luck on the 28th, by the way. You got another live. Come back next week. Let's know how it's going on, the studying wise. What are we on? 14. Got B's and A's as well, so you guys are not. Right, the common answer seems to be a B now, so you guys are consistent with that. Got A here. Right, B's. Yeah, right, let me break this down for you as well. Got an A. Ask them how it happens. It's not your business. At an incident, so background information. At an incident, it's important to look after any casualties. What should you do with them when the area is safe? That's the key word. It's safe, so nothing's going on. Traffic's being stopped, nothing's moving, nothing's changing. Keep them where they are. Moving them unnecessarily can cause them more harm than good. That's the reason why you leave them where they are if the area is safe. You're driving a friend's You're driving a friend's children home from school. They're both under 14 years old. Who's responsible for making sure they wear a seatbelt for approved child restraint where required? $30-day study camp. You just booked it. Okay. What I'll do is later on today I'll go in and check your details, and I will send you a Theory Test Pro invite. And what you need to do with that is take a 50-question mock test. It gives me your baseline score. So it's not about passing it. So if you pass it, get a bad score. That's not what it's about. It just shows me where I need to start with you to put your plan into place. And then you do a hazard perception mock test. But I repeat, do not do both of them at the same time, same day. You want to do a mock test first. I need to see that first, really. And then tomorrow, if you want, or the day after, whatever it is, do a hazard perception. Do not do both together, because I need to make sure your brain is fresh for the questions and fresh for the hazard perception. And then I can start to work with you and do what I need to do with you. We have a live session every Wednesday at 7 p.m. as well. So if you're available, you'll get the link for that. And you just turn up, and then I can review. If you can do it before Wednesday as well, I can review your answers with you live in the progress session that we have on Wednesdays. And we have one on Saturdays as well. So welcome, and I will look after you. But keep an eye out for the Theory Test Pro link. I'll send it out today. Once we finish the live, I'll just go straight on and do that for you. Right, let's see what we are dealing with. 15. Can't find 15s. There we go. All going for A, so looks like you guys agree on this one. Yes, you, the driver, you are responsible. Give you a little tip for this as well. You are responsible for anyone aged 14 and under in the eyes of the law. If they ask you, if they rephrase the question and put the ages here in the A, B, C, D, don't tick 14 on the real test. Do not tick 13. Do not tick 14, tick 13 because it's under 14. The theory test is black and white. There's no grey areas. In the eyes of the law, is 14 and under. For the theory test, they want you to tick 13 because it's under 14. So I repeat, if it's got the numbers here, the ages, tick 13 on the real test. Which vehicle should you allow extra room as you overtake them? I think I've done that one already. Yeah, if you're revising the one you got wrong, if you're revising the ones you got wrong, and what I mean by revising, you understand why you got it wrong. There's a difference between revising the ones you got wrong and understanding why you got it wrong. Then yeah, you're on point. Because some of you think, yeah, because I got it wrong, I now know why I got it wrong. I'm happy with that or whatever it is. It's not. You need to understand why it's wrong. Sometimes you need to go a bit deeper and understand why you picked the answer. You don't always have a why to why you picked it, but you have to explore it because you need to eliminate that answer from your brain completely. So when and if it comes up in another question, you know straight away, boom, that's not right because that's what I picked before. I know why it's not right, like I did with explain some of the answers on this. because now you've got 1 in 3 chance of being right, if that makes sense, because you eliminate that answer. If you eliminate the stupid answer as well, you now got 1 in 2 chance to be right, which gives you a better possibility of passing your theory test. And that's the reason why I keep saying understand why you got a question wrong before you start looking at the right answer. $16. I can see already some of you are disagreeing with this. Got C's now. But the majority is D, so I've got to assume D is correct. But again, I'll break it down to show you why C is not correct. Again, it's like I said about understanding. So D's and C's. Which vehicle should you allow extra room as you overtake? Bicycle. C, a lorry. Why would you give lorry extra room? Right, let me just quickly explain why cyclists. It leads to another question. Another question is how much space should you give a cyclist, which the answer is the same as a car. If they ask you for the number, it's a meter that you should give a cyclist. And the reason why, because drains are the side of the road, cycle lanes are the side of the road, and cyclists swerve around drains to avoid it because the wheels don't grip. So when they swerve in that meter clearance that you just left. That's why you give them extra room. But with a road sweeper, tractor and lorry, you just drive the same. You don't have to give them extra. What should you do to avoid fuel spillage? Siri Maker. Hopefully I'm saying that correct. Or Siri Maker. I've not said that correct. Otherwise, I've not seen your name before. So welcome first and foremost. And you passed your theory test. You're giving me credit. You're the one that did it. I just give out basic information. You guys have to apply that information. So you've done the hard work. So well done. But I appreciate you coming to the live and let me know how you got on, because it makes a big difference knowing that you guys are passing. It also makes a big difference that I know you guys are failing, because it just means I need to tweak some stuff to get through to you guys who are failing as well. So I appreciate you guys coming to the live and sticking around with it, because there's over 100 of you here on a Sunday at 11:20. So I know it's a Sunday, you've got things to do. So I appreciate you guys giving up your time and letting me know that you passed as well. So thank you. And we are on 17. So it looks like you guys agreed on this, all C's. Let's see. Yeah, close your filler cap back so it doesn't spill out when you're going over speed humps, potholes, that type of thing as well. Yeah, 100%. It doesn't lead to safety event, it can't be right. What information should you share if you're involved in a collision that causes damage to another vehicle? Remember, if you guys got any questions, type them in before we sign out. So And you all gone for A. So you agree with that? I think that's a simple one, to be fair. What you can do with A is you can give your phone number as well, but the minimum requirements, name, address, vehicle registration, but you can give your phone number as well with that one. What might you expect to happen in this situation? Always read the question, and if it's got images, always scan the images first in detail and then go looking at the answers. Some of you look at that, just glance over the image and then go for the answer always, because sometimes there's clues in the images to what the answer is. So I've got C's at the moment. Yeah, you guys agree on this? All C's. So let's take a look at C's. Traffic will move into the left-hand lane. Yeah, because the right lane's closed off. Oh, last one. What should you do if you want to overtake a long, slow-moving vehicle on a busy road? You guys have gone for B. I've just come up with a connection problem. Hold on one sec. So you guys gone with B. Right. There was a connection problem with the website just a minute ago. I don't know if it's going to let me come down with it. Right, the answers. Yeah, let's just see if it's maybe. Oh, that seems to be working. It doesn't look good. Right. So let me break it down for you. For some reason, why the website's just gone a bit funny. As I said to you, the fairy test is made up of 14 different categories. This is a 20 question mock test, if I can show you without going too far down. There's a 20 question mock test, as you can see up there, and it's given me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different categories in a 14 in the 20 question mock test. Rules of the road 4 questions, incidents, accidents, and emergency 3. Alertness 2, safety in your vehicle 3, hazard awareness 2, motorway rules 2, vulnerable road users 2, attitude 1, and other type of vehicles 1. So if my knowledge was on rules of the road and incidents, accidents, and emergency poor, that's 7 questions possibly wrong. I'm already down to 43. So I can't afford to make a silly mistake with anything. That's why I say do the categories in turn, because you don't know how your test is going to be made up. The one thing I will let you know as well, when you go for the test, if there's 10 of you in the room, it's 10 different tests. It's multiple, it's random. You know it's multiple choice already, it's random. So it's not the same test for the same people that's in the room at the same time. So it's random tests. So where one person sitting next to you might be getting 5 road signs, you could be getting 3 road signs. And that's why I stress again, make sure you study the categories, because you don't know how those categories are going to be made up. So hopefully that makes a lot of sense to you guys who are prepping for your upcoming test. So I'm just looking at these comments. Let me bring this on screen. Hold on 1 second. Let's make sure I've not missed anything. All right. So let me deal with this first. Let me come out of this and go to the right one. Can you please send me road markings? That's not something I could do for the live. It's visual. The only thing I can give you is a yellow and a red mark. Try again. Get my words out. Yellow and red road markings at the side of the road are parking restrictions. If they ask you what it's for, which is a general question, it eases traffic flow, it helps congestion. The difference between double yellows, double reds, double yellows, double reds, there's no tolerance. If you get caught, you are going to get fined, towed straight away. Single yellows, single reds, you can normally park there at certain times. There's restrictions. With the yellows and reds, it's after 7 p.m. When traffic is quieter. But road markings in the middle of the road, it's visual. Without showing you that, I can't, it's hard to explain. But there is a video on the channel, I believe, that breaks down the road markings and all the rest of it. With that, I do teach in the study camp. We did it on Tuesday, by the way, all the road markings, all the yellow lines as well, because it's linked to your hazard perception. And I'll show you on the test sheet in a minute. Oh, that's a shame. Took your driving test and failed. What did you fail on? Again, you've got data now, so you and your instructor can work. You said driving test. So hopefully you meant driving test, not theory test. But if it's a driving test, you've got data. Both either theory test or driving test, because just in case you made a mistake with the typing, you've got data. But let me know what you failed on if it's a driving test, what categories. Then what do you mean by cat's eyes? It comes many times in the question. Cat's eyes are the studs, believe it or not. That's what I'm saying about understanding. So, you know, when they talk about motorway and talk about red studs, amber studs, white studs, it's called cat's eyes. The reason why it's called cat's eyes is because at night it actually glows, so it looks like a cat in a row, but that's why they change the colour, so you know exactly what lane you're in. So when they mention cat's eyes, it's literally the studs. So you've got the green, which is a slip road, red is your hard shoulder left lane, white is your middle lane, and amber is your right hand lane, which is where the crash barrier is, central reservation. So I hope that helps. So cat's eyes, studs are the same thing. I must have missed a comment. Next year, me getting DT. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe I missed a comment. All right, let me just make sure I've not missed anything else. You said you're stunned, but my son is studying with you. Okay, maybe I missed a comment somewhere along the line. Okay. You're welcome. Suggest me how to pass in my practical in Luton. I heard it's difficult to pass in Luton. Any suggestions? It's not difficult. If you know how to drive, it's not difficult. It's difficult if you don't know how to drive. Luton, I live in Luton. There's a couple of videos on my channel with the Luton test route. Luton's not difficult. And if you're taking driving lessons, your instructor will take you around any difficult bits if you want to class as difficult. I didn't see Luton as difficult at all. Because when I moved to Luton, that's what I heard as well. And I thought, let me do a couple of videos just to see. And I thought the test routes were all right. Got to know some of the examiners down there as well. I think Luton's fine. I just don't see it as difficult. Can be scary, but I don't think it's difficult. Right, so I keep doing, I don't know why it's not coming out automatically. Right, so let me quickly explain. Get my iPad open. So I'm going to do a hazard perception, but I want to show you the driving test report sheet first. So this is a driving test report sheet that you're going to get when you pass or fail your driving test. You get a copy. They always give you data. So we just done the theory test. So your theory is here, box 17, traffic signs, because we got rules of the road. There's no traffic signs on there based on that. Just rules of the road. But anyway, traffic signs. Someone asks about road markings. So that's where it would go, box 17. Traffic lights. Traffic controllers and other road users. So that's your theory test kind of right there. They spoke about, if you remember, for those of you that was at the beginning here, at the beginning, what's the right hand lane used for? Dual carriageway. So position, number box 23, position normal driving. So if you don't know what the right hand lane is for, in terms of you using it on your driving test, that's where it's going to come in. Pedestrian crossings, that's your pelicans, your puffins. Position normal stops. And so that's your theory test right there. So that's the reason why you need this knowledge for this when you take your driving test. So like I said, some of you are using it just to pass so you can book a driving test, but you need to pass it to understand it so you can use it for your driving test. So if you think about it this way, if you take the time out and understand it, you're going to pass anyway, and then your knowledge is going to be strong anyway, rather than have to restudy it while you're taking driving lessons. The one thing I don't kind of like, I have to do it if I have to do it because I'm a driving instructor, is when I'm parked up at the side of the road with my student trying to explain road signs, road markings and the rules, which is theory related, when they've already passed their theory test. That doesn't make sense to me. All I want to do with my students is drive as much as possible, get them the most driving in the time they're booked. But if I have to sit at the side of the road to explain stuff for them to understand it, the theory stuff that they've already passed, think about it, you're wasting time. And technically you're wasting a little bit of your driving time, which is wasting money. So that's why if this is strong, you do more driving and you pass your driving test, hopefully first time. So that's your theory side of it. Now we talk about hazard perception, which is the mirrors. When you are doing your hazard perception, just in case you didn't know, and you're clicking to score your 5s and 4s, that's you checking your mirrors. That's the equivalent of you checking the mirrors. That's what the examiner's looking for. Problem mirror, problem mirror. So if you look at box 14, use your mirrors before signalling, before you change direction, and before you change in speed. There's your hazard perception right there. The difference with this though, on your hazard perception, you don't see the car signalling. So they're only looking for you when you're changing direction and changing speed. If you don't know, a hazard is anything that's going to cause you to slow down or shift left or right. In other words, change direction. Because when you slow down, you check your rear view mirror. And when you shift direction, you check your wing mirrors, the equivalent wing mirror. So that's what it is. They're trying to train you to check your mirrors nice and early. If you check your mirrors late, the brain is designed to protect you. It will not check the mirrors first. It will go for the brake first and check the mirror afterwards. And that's where the examiner marks it in the mirror section. So you should always check mirrors first and then go for the brake. So I'm just reading the comment. What section are we talking about? You've got section there. I'm not sure what section you're talking about. If you're talking about this, again, I've got another one. It's about a couple of years old, but it's still relevant, still up to date. But you're right, some of the videos on my channel needs updating. I'm trying to get back into filming more videos, but like I said, I'm more in the study camp where possible now with students on the personal level. But yeah, let me know what section you're talking about and I will make a note of that. And if I can do it, I shall. Right, so now let me do a hazard perception for you. So remember, hazard perception is anything that's going to cause you to slow down or change. Oh, it's already set up. So I'm just trying to sort this iPad out. It's going to cause you anything that's going to, a hazard, anything that's going to cause you to slow it down or change direction. I'm really struggling with my words today. Right, so there's two types of clips when you're doing practicing at home. There's real life, as you can see there, and CGI. I'll say this every week now because for some reason the scoring and the timing ain't quite right with the real life clips. So if you're getting a low score on the real life clips, don't beat yourself up over it. Don't get me wrong, if you're getting zeros after zeros, there's an issue because it ain't that bad at a time. But if you're getting ones and twos, don't worry because the timing isn't quite right with the real life clip, but still practice it. The CGIs now is on point. And when you go for the real tests, there's all CGI videos and they're slightly slower based on feedback that I get from my students. They're slightly slower than the app, so you've got a bit more time as well. But they're more crystal, and obviously when you're doing it for real, you're doing it on a bigger screen, where most of you are doing it on a phone. Best case, you're doing it on a tablet. So it's going to be a lot better. So I'll do two. I'll do one on the real life, so you can see the poor quality. I will do what I call a demonstration drive when I'm demonstrating driving with my students. I'll talk out loud so you know what I'm looking at, so you know why I'm clicking, and then I'll review it back afterwards. So let's deal with this one. No stars on this one. So the van's parked up on the pavement, so I'm going to need to come out to the right, so it's my right door mirror check. Again, when you're driving and watching the video, look up the road as far as you can see. There's a side road to my left, but no cars, no bikes, so I don't need to click. So keep looking up the road from left to right as well, because road signs are on the left. There's a bend, I can't see around the bend. Always click what if there's something around there. The car coming out. Pedestrians on the pavement. There's a car door open or something there, I think. Nope, it's just blind. Car parked up on the left ahead, car coming towards me. So I'm going to have to come out to the right, so I'm going to click on that. Car moving off. Again, keep looking up the road. So 5 out of 5. Always review back to see how you can improve, just in case it's a late 5. So speeding up. So there you go, look. There you go. Right there. There's my first click, car parked up on the left as far as I was concerned. So this is my click, nice and early, or too early. But since you always go for 2 clicks per problem, so you click and you literally go 1, 2, click again to cover yourself. And my second click landed in a 5. Then a car moving off. And I think the problems with the car moving off, to be honest. So this is what I'm talking about timing. I'm sure the scores for the car moving off. I don't see the car. The car doesn't move off until now. So the most I can get for that is a 3. That's also the timing isn't quite right with the real life clip. So don't beat yourself up over it. But anyway, because I clicked for the car parked up on the left, because I have to move to the right, check my mirrors, I still got a 5 anyway. 2 different problems, 2 different clicks. So hopefully now you understand why you click twice. Do not go click. Because if I did that, and I'll show you. There's my first click. If I went click, I'm still too early. And that's the reason why you space it out. You click and you literally go 1, 2, click again. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me just check to see if there's any comments on that. Yeah, there is a video on the channel. It's about 2 years old, but like I said, the sheet hasn't changed. But you're right, all these things need to be updated, and I will get around to do new videos on those as well. But to be fair, that green sheet, the driving test report sheet, is more to do for driving tests, not the theory test. I'm just showing you how it's related to a driving test, because some of you still don't realise that this is going to be used for your driving lessons. As I said, you see it as a means to just pass so you can go on to book a driving test. That's not the way you want to look at it. Like I said, you're looking at it to help you reinforce it. And not only that, think about it as well, just in case you didn't know. So let me just took that down. Thank you for coming to the live. I've not seen your name before, so welcome. 40 out of 50, missed 50 by 2. And 68 on the hazard perception, so 7 short of the max. Well done. Congratulations. Right, so let me quickly explain. Like I said, what you guys don't realise on the driving test, that you do need this theory test side of things to give you yourself the best possible chance. But as I said, some of you are just doing it as a means to pass or booking a driving test. I pass it, now I can book my driving test. You can take driving lessons alongside studying for the theory test, but you can't take a driving test. But what some of you don't realise is that when you pass your driving test, you're on to, let me come out to full screen. When you pass your driving test, you're on 2 years probation. If you get 6 points or more in the first 2 years, you lose your license. And when people pass their driving test, they don't pick up a theory test app again. They don't pick up a book. So if your knowledge is weak at the beginning source and you pass your driving test, you can still pick up 6 points because your documentation is part of the theory test. And if you get your documentation wrong, it carries fines, it carries points. And that's the reason why, because no one picks up a book again. If you go to one of your friends, family members who are drivers, been driving for a while, you give them 10 simple questions on the theory test, I guarantee you they'll be lucky to get 7 out of 10 right, because they don't know the laws of change. And that's the reason why your knowledge needs to be strong, because you can lose your license in the first 2 years just by getting your documentation wrong. So buying your first car. So like I said, that's why you need the knowledge. So hopefully that's starting to make you guys understand, hold on, not study harder, but make sure it stays there, stays put, more solid. I don't see no comments on this, so let me do the second one. Right, so I'm going to go for CGI now. So let's choose one with no stars. Let's do this one. So looking well ahead, I'm looking well up past the red lorry and then working my way back. Can't see nothing to click on. Still can't see anything to click. So I'm still looking beyond the red lorry, the cars in front of the lorry, and scanning from left to right, right to left. There's a lorry looking to turn across the dual carriageway, so I'm going to click. And then I'm going to go click again. This is now blocking the road. So that should be the one I get marked on, but keep going because you don't know if it's your double. I should have clicked again to come past the lorry, but I was looking up rather than looking down. That caravan's parked up on the side or whatever it is on the side. It's not moving, so I don't need to click. Oh, 5 out of 5, so I got it right. So again, always review. Let's just speed it up. So there's my first one. So that's for seeing the lorry in the first place. Let me just rewind it back so you can see how that worked out. So I saw the lorry, I clicked for it. As soon as you see a problem, click. 1, 2, and then go click again. So there's my problem. I saw the lorry, I've clicked, and I think I clicked again because he's now coming out. Different problem, even though it's the same vehicle, and clicked again. So I've clicked 4 times in about 5 countdown, and I've still got the maximum score. And that's how you want to do it. Problem, click, 1, 2. Different problem, 1, 2. So hopefully that makes sense.
Your lane.
If there's any questions, put it in the comment section before we sign out. Took class yesterday. I took a class yesterday. I'm assuming you mean a driving lesson. It's always a mirror signal, but I keep forgetting and doing other ways, signal mirror. Yeah, it's mirror signal. There's a whole acronym. The proper way of doing it is MSPSL. The old-fashioned way is MSM, which most of you probably know, mirror signal maneuver. But driving's moved on. They split the second M into other parts. So it's MSPSL, mirror first, always mirrors first. Problem, mirror, signal, position, speed, look. Mirror, signal, position, speed, look. That's for you guys taking driving lessons. But yeah, you have to get in the habit of mirrors first because it's massive for your driving test. My son is taking his practical test. Practical, so you mean the driving science? I'm checking for him. As I said, there's no magic marker with that now. Golden wands, magic wands is a better word. You just have to keep checking online different times of the day, morning, noon, night, and hopefully a cancellation comes up. There is, probably you don't know because you're checking for your son, 6 a.m. every Monday, they do release new dates. So what you probably want to do is log on about 10 to 5 to 6. I know it's early in the morning, and hopefully you may be able to grab one of them. It may not work on the first Monday, but maybe 2, 3, 4 Mondays down the line, you may get a date. So they do release new test dates every Monday morning at 6 a.m. So log on then, and then hopefully you can pick up one sooner rather than later. Do you have to click when a vehicle's coming towards you? It depends. Remember, a hazard is something that's going to cause you to slow down and change direction. Now, if the vehicle's kind of on your side of the road, because the road's narrow, yes, because you're going to have to slow down. As driving instructors, we say less space, less speed. So the tighter the space, the slower you want to go. So to slow down, you should check your mirrors first. If the road's wide and the car's on their side of the road comfortably and you on your side of the road comfortably, no, you don't need to click because nothing's going wrong in that video. But if it's narrow, tight, yes, you're going to have to click if a car's coming towards you. Becky, I'm fine. How are you? I'm glad it's going well for you. Again, while you're studying, Becky, I'm here next Sunday. The 5th is a couple of weeks away. Write down any questions this is for all of you as well. While you guys are studying, write down questions. Bring it to the live sessions on Sunday. Let's deal with it. Because I'd rather answer your question because it's personal to you rather than just me giving that generic information, which is what the videos do, basically. Congratulations on passing again. Thank you for coming to the live. I've not seen your name before, so again, welcome to you. Yeah, exactly. If it's going to cause you to, all you got to do is say, is it going to cause me a problem? Click. 1, 2, click again. If it does, you've clicked. If it doesn't, you've clicked. It makes no difference. But remember, click on things that exist. Don't go clicking on stuff all over the place. It's got to be a problem that's going to cause you a problem. If it's not going to cause you a problem, do not click. Otherwise, you could end up clicking too many times. No problem, Sammy. Thank you for breaking the silence, by the way. I know for most of you that stay silent, it's not easy to break the silence. So I appreciate you breaking the silence and welcome. When you say an assessment driving lesson, what do you mean by that? Do you mean assessment as in a mock test? Or do you mean, when you say an assessment, do you mean your driving test? Similar to what I said right at the beginning, I'm assuming you wasn't here at the beginning, just do what you normally do. At driving, you guys get so worked up, go, oh my God, assessment, mock test, blah, blah, blah. It's just another driving lesson. It doesn't change anything. The examiner, or if you're having your assessment, if you're talking about assessment, what we call a mock test, it doesn't change anything. It's the same left turn, it's the same right turn, it's the same control stop, it's the same reversing, it's the same pulling up on the left, it's the same. It's just in a stressful situation because you know you're being watched. That's the way you want to look at it. So it's just another driving lesson. Try to relax and just do what you do normally. The examiner doesn't want to see you do anything differently. If you try to change something and drive for the examiner, oh, I think he wants to see this, you're going to fail because that's not what you practice on your driving lesson. The reason why you take driving lessons is to practice what you're preaching, basically. So you're practicing to perfect safety and control. When you go for your driving test, you do the same thing. Safety, control, and you'll pass all day long with that. But I wish you luck with your assessment. I have my test. Don't know why it keeps doing that. Sorry, one sec. Right, don't know why it keeps jumping out like that. But anyway, where is it? I have my test tomorrow and I keep getting 42 out of 50 and 60. It has a perception I have low-key given up. I don't know what you mean by low-key giving up, but giving up, I know what that means. Then why go for your test tomorrow if you're going to give up? That's the cool. If you was my student, that's what I'd be saying. You haven't taken the test yet. So I'm not understanding why you're giving up before you're going for a test. You're getting 42. It's not the ideal preparation, but you're not far off. But if you're going to go in there with a give up attitude, you might as well not turn up. You might as well cancel it. So my advice to you is be more positive and say, right, you know what, I'm getting 42 out of 50. Go in there, take your time, read the questions carefully, read the answers carefully. What I suggest you to do, if you don't know the answer, flag it, move on. And then when you finish, you go back to the flagged ones and you take time to work out the safest option. At this point in time, the test is still in your hands. You haven't taken it, which means you haven't passed it or you haven't failed it. But if you go there with a negative attitude of giving up, you're going to fail. There's no ifs or buts because you already told yourself that. Be positive. You haven't taken it yet. So go and be positive. Do what I just told you. Read the questions carefully, flag it, move on, and then go back to the flag ones and break it down. And what I mean by breaking it down is work backwards, work out what the answer can't be. There's always a stupid answer on there. Get rid of the stupid answer. You're now left with 1 in 3 chance of passing. And then obviously, sometimes there's 2 stupid answers and so on and so on. But you're still in the game at this point in time. You haven't taken it yet. So I wish you luck with it tomorrow. Change your attitude, by the way. And I wish you the best of luck with it. And then come back next week and tell me that you've passed it. You can always thank me later. If I click 4 times within the square window, would I be penalised for pattern clicking? You could be if you click 4 times. I clicked 4 times in the pattern window, but it was the click was for different things. So if the lorry one, for example, is it still up? Yeah, let me show you this because it's still up. Again, I don't know why this is coming out. Not coming out. So let me just go back and I review. Yes, I clicked 4 times, but it's for different things, even though it's the same vehicle. So there's my first click. Hold on one sec. There's my first click for the lorry because I've seen it. Remember, a problem, click. So that's what I've done. I've seen it and I've clicked. So there's my second click for the same seeing it. And now the lorry's coming out. So it's a different situation. He's now coming out. So it's a different situation, same vehicle. So I've clicked 4 times in that situation. I'm not penalised. But also, on the flip side, there's no clicks to the left of it. There's no clicks on the right of it. Whereas in another video, you can have lots of clicks to the left and lots of clicks to the right because there's other problems, which means it can add up to too many clicks. But the simple answer, if you're clicking for different issues, then it should not be penalised because it's a different problem, different mirror, if that makes sense. You got 2 more live sessions remaining. Like I said, write your questions down. Any concerns, jot them down, bring them. Let me help you out in the 2 sessions that you got remaining. Hopefully it's your last 2 sessions as well. You pass it. I'll score well on the ferry. Yeah, that's the downside with practicing too many hazard perceptions because you get to know the problems. There's only a certain amount of videos that DVSA released. But if you're getting the 4 and 5s, even though you may know where the hazards are, you know what hazard is. So I personally wouldn't be worried. If you'd said to me you're getting 2s and 3s on average, and that, but you know where the hazard are, I would be concerned. As I said, once you know what a hazard is, it doesn't make a difference what video you're watching. It's the same hazard, just in different videos, if that makes sense, because a hazard is anything that's going to cause you to slow down or change direction. So if it's going to cause you a problem, you're going to click. So I wouldn't be worried about that. I'll always be concerned about the questions. And the reason why, which I said before, is because you don't know what 50 questions you're going to get. You don't know how it's going to be made up for you personally. Whether you're going to get 5 road signs, only 2 motorways. Will you get 3 motorways and 1 road signs? You don't know how that's made up for you. And I always stress with my students, make sure the questions are understood inside out. Hazard perception is a hazard regardless of what video. With that, so let me just finish off with all of this. Another one. What time is a live class on a Sunday? It is 10 a.m. until we finish. Follow 3-click method. You can do 3 clicks. I ain't got an issue with it. I just teach 2 to cover. I don't know how sensitive their program is. I know 2 clicks will always keep under the threshold. I don't know how sensitive their program is, because obviously we don't have access to that. So, but you can do a 3-click method again, as long as you're clicking on things that exist. Once you start clicking on things that don't, that 3 clicks could add up throughout the video, but 2 clicks will not add up throughout the video. As I said, I'm just teaching the basics. If you want to adapt it to your style, as in 3 clicks, there's nothing wrong with that. We all learn differently, but I'm giving you a baseline to start off from, and then you guys run with that. And like I said, when you guys are studying, i.e. 2 hours, I'm telling you, don't do that. That you don't want to be adapting. You're better off studying 15, 20 minutes. Trust me, once you go over the hour, the brain is not taking any more information, not quality information anyway. So there's certain things I'm saying you want to follow, and there's stuff that I'm saying you can adapt it. So the 2-click, yes, adapt to 3. Studying for 2 hours, no. Get rid of that and go down to an hour or less in terms of studying. How can I practice new hazard perception clips since I want to know? Jump online, type in hazard perception videos. I know some people have made their own videos. You may come across them and do that. But outside of that, there's, in terms of the legal and licensed ones, it's always going to be the same, because that's all they give out. But some people have made their own. So if you jump online, type in Google hazard perception videos, you may get a few that is not out there. Yeah, like I said, the hazard perception, I don't really stress with my pupils when they're struggling with hazard perception in the study camp. I do a couple of demonstrations, talk them through it, that's it, done. We focus on questions, because the worst way to fail is to pass the hazard perception, and the common way to fail is to pass hazard perception and fail on the questions. If you look at the stats, it takes someone 3 point something theory test to pass. I don't know where they get a point from, but 3 point something theory test to pass, and the common failure is questions. So hazard, like I said, understand what hazards are, and then you're sorted. You're welcome. No problem. Again, you guys are welcome. My aim is for you guys to pass, and you guys are here, dedicated. So I've got no issues with that. I think I've done that one. Same, I forgot to postpone the test, realised it the day before, but I just want... See, there you go. The thing is, sometimes when you guys are worrying about tests and all sorts, it's not because you guys are not prepared for the test, it's because you're worried about failing the test. You have to fail in life to get better and achieve stuff. Not everyone succeeds. The biggest business people have failed multiple times. You have to fail to get to your goal. Have I always achieved what I needed to achieve in life? I failed my driving test twice. Fine, you see me on the videos where I've messed up on my videos, because I leave those mistakes in where I don't get 50 out of 50 every time. I should be getting 50 out of 50 because I teach the thing, but I don't, because I've read the question wrong, whatever it happens to be. You learn from mistakes. So making mistakes is not a bad thing. So as these persons just turned around and said they didn't feel comfortable, they didn't cancel the test, took it and pass it. Take your test and see how it goes. I always say to my students, it's only going to go one of 2 ways. You're going to pass it or you're going to fail it. If you pass it, happy days, you move on with your life, no problems, you're not stressing anymore. And if you fail it, you've now got data to see where you need to improve. And that's what failing does. As long as you learn from the mistakes, it's not a big thing. But you guys see it as a massive thing. It's good. You see, I get where you're coming from with that, but the problem that you're understanding, you said, I do well. Right, let me try to spin it this way. Let me just read what you're saying, sir. Siri, congrats on passing. I'm only worried about hazard perception since I do very well or multiple choice questions. They are common sense, but HP can be tricky. It's tricky because you don't understand it, then that's the reason why. So I repeat, hazard is anything that will cause you to slow down or change direction. I'm going to say this so you understand it. You said you don't have any problems because they're common sense. That's because the questions you are answering, you've seen already. And you know, it's no different from seeing the same hazard perception. That's the reason why. But you're more confident with the questions, but less confident with the hazard perception. A hazard is a hazard. Regardless of what 14 videos you're going to get on your day of the real test, it's the same. A problem that's going to cause you to slow down or change direction. Now, this is where you want to get your head around. When you go for the real test, there's going to be questions that you have never seen before. So will your common sense kick in when you are nervous? Who knows? There's going to be questions worded differently that you've never seen before from the real test. Will your common sense kick in? The questions is what you want to be concerned about, because it's the same questions on the apps. That's why you're confident and you're saying common sense. When you go for the real test, it's different questions, but it's the same hazards. A hazard is anything going to cause you to slow down or change direction. Any video they show you is consistent as a hazard. When the questions they show you, it's different. So don't get the two confused. You're probably going to be comfortable on the hazard perception when you go for the real test. You may not be comfortable with the 50 questions when third of them is probably what you never ever seen before. So be very careful and don't get complacent. That's what I'm just trying to advise you with that. Can someone follow your series without any other app, since what you're teaching is very, very impactful? Yes, it's possible, but I would suggest you read the app. The reason being, because you get tested on the app. Obviously, with watching my videos, there is no mock test, as in scoring yourself with that. And the categories, you don't get a score with the categories. You have to measure yourself. If you don't measure yourself, how do you know you're improving? It's all good going study, but you want to be able to measure yourself in terms of how to improve. Using the app does that for you. It keeps a track of your score and how much you studied, how long you studied. So I would always use an app alongside it. But the answer to your question, yes, it's possible, but why take the risk? Can you explain the difference between puffing crossing and pelican crossing, and how the amber lights flashing and steady plays in the rolling path? Yes, puffing is sensors. A pelican is only one of a flashing sequence. With images, all images, I always suggest you go from bottom to top. So you start at the bottom and you work your way up. So with traffic lights, there's only 3 colors. You start at the bottom with green and you're going up. Green, steady amber, red. And the reason why I say that, because when they ask you what color comes next, it's easier to work out, because they go up as a single color and it comes down as a double. So when they go up, it goes green, independent, amber, independent, red, independent. So if they say to you what color comes after green, you know it's steady amber. If they say what color comes after steady amber, you know it's going to be red. Now, if they say to you what color comes after red, you're coming down now. So it comes down as a double. It's red and amber together. And that's how you work it out. Now, the difference between a puffing crossing and an amber pelican crossing, puffing is a traffic light sequence that goes up as a single, green, amber, red. When it comes down as red and amber together, and then it goes to green. With a pelican, it goes up, same, green, steady amber, red. But when it comes down on the pelican, it's flashing amber. So that's the difference between the two. But with images and your traffic lights, always go from bottom to top. It makes it easier to read the sign and images. Remember, 44 is the pass mark. You want to think 50 is the pass mark. That's the way I teach. Hazard perception you're talking about. Sorry, questions 43. Hazard perception, aim for 75. That way, if you fall short, you fall forwards. If you aim for 44, you may fall backwards, which means you're going to fail. Or with hazard perception in the question, don't think the minimum mark is the pass mark. That's what you need to get. Aim for the highest mark, which is 50 or 75. And that way, if you aim that, you train for that. And that way, if you fall short, you should fall backwards, which is still above the line, if that makes sense. I'm just studying for now. Hazard perception different from the test. Is hazard perception different from the test? If you mean the hazard perception you're practicing on the app's different from the real test, no. Like I said, it's on a bigger screen, and all the hazard perception videos on the real test are CGIs. So I'll answer that. Keeps doing that. I appreciate the kind words. So the test questions are not the same from any other apps. Sorry, the test questions. So if the test questions are not same from any other app. The real test questions are different or worded differently. You may get a similar question but worded differently. And there's going to be some questions that you have never ever seen before, maybe not even heard of before, because the apps are sampled questions and there's only 770 plus on there. The real database from the DVSA are 1,500 questions database, and they are different. I repeat, I'm assuming you wasn't here at the beginning. We are licensed, the apps are licensed, I'm licensed. We get the test questions that we can feed out to you. So the apps are giving you test questions, they're sampled questions to give you an idea and get the understanding. And hopefully you get the understanding so when you walk into the real test, it doesn't make a difference how they word those questions, because the understanding is there, you should be passing. Some of you are still thinking, if I nail all the questions on the apps, I'm going to go in there and nail all the questions in there. They're sampled questions, they're not real, they're sampled questions on the app. But like I said, with the hazard perception, they can show you any video they want to show you. It's a hazard, it's a hazard. If it's causing to slow down or change direction, it's a hazard. The question worded differently doesn't mean it can be the same answer. When we go to the real test, is hazard easy? If you've done the work, anything you do is easy. If you've done the work, but if you haven't done it, it becomes a little bit more difficult. But you guys go in there with the fear factor, and I get it. Don't get me wrong. When I get check tested when the examiner sits in the back of my car to watch me teach, so I can keep my license, I get nervous. But the problem is, the difference is, I know my stuff. Trust me, on tests, I get nervous from my pupils on test day, driving test I'm talking about, and I'm not even taking a driving test. I get nervous for them, so I understand the nerves, but it's about trying to control it. Don't let the nerves control you. That's the difference. It's not about practicing or focusing on the multiple choice. All I'm trying to say, don't get complacent, because you're more worried about the hazard perception, not the questions. As I said, I keep saying in the last 5 minutes, the hazard is a hazard. It doesn't make a difference what video you watch. If you understand what a hazard is, it makes no difference. But the question will be worded differently. They will change that. A video's changing, but a hazard stays the same, consistent, because it will cause you to slow down or change direction. Where the questions, you don't know what questions you're going to get. If it was the same questions from the app, the pass rate wouldn't be low. That's how you guys have to think of it. Remember, if it's the same questions from the app, everyone just memorized the questions. And that's how it used to be back in the day. Just in case you guys don't know, I've been a driving instructor for 30 years, literally. And so when the theory test came in 25 years ago, they used to have the answers in the book. So the questions at the front, you answer it, and then you go to the book to check the answers. And what people used to do is memorize the answers to the questions. Went for the theory test, obviously passed it. The driving standard was low. It was really, really low. So the DVSA decided, you know what, we're not giving out the answers anymore. So now you're going to have to learn it inside out so you can apply it for your driving test. So the standard of driving was higher when the person came back. But back in the day, the answers was in the back of the book. Most of you don't even know that because you're not old enough to know that. But that's why they stopped doing it and printing the answers, because people just memorized it. I'm still studying but seem not to. I'm assuming understand. You got to ask yourself why. I can't answer that because I don't know you. How long you're studying for? What are you studying? Is it structured learning, or is it all over the place? And what I mean by that, are you doing 2-3 categories at one time rather than just one category at a time? Are you studying for too long for your concentration level, because everyone's different? So maybe you want to reduce the studying 15, 20 minutes rather than an hour, 45, whatever it is that you're doing. But because I don't know you, I can't answer it personal to you. But most of the reason why people don't understand, because the learning is not structured, it's all over the place. And the other reason why you don't know what you're studying, you just go in there, just picking up the app and start studying doesn't mean to say you're studying. You want to know what you're trying to get out of it. So if you want to learn, right, today, you know what, I want to do documents, I want to nail documents, boom, you go and do that. But some of you just pick up the app and study. What's your goal? What's the point? What are you going to try to achieve? How do you know you've improved? Those are the questions you want to be asking. Thank you. First of all, thank you for being there and saying that, and congratulate your girlfriend for me, and say to her while she's not here, saying thank you herself. But yeah, appreciate it. Appreciate the support. If you're not understanding the hazard perception after watching the videos, there's not much more I can say. There's, like I said, it's very hard for me to get across the point of a video if you don't understand it, because a video, that's going to be a personal chat, because there's got to be a reason why you're not understanding, but you have to explore why you are not understanding it after watching the video. But that's not something I can sort out. That's a bit deeper than this live's going to go into. Studied every day, that works for her, that's fine. I'm glad she's passed it. What's she up to now? She looking to take driving lessons now? Did you, oh, you guys are talking to each other. Oh, I've done that one. Yep. MSc, multiple choice questions. It's just short for multiple choice. And congratulations on passing. Right, so that's the last comment I've got on there. So I enjoyed today's session. It's actually insightful on this Sunday. One of the longest lives I think I've done for a while. Yeah, so like I said, I enjoyed the Sunday lives. Let me get this. I don't know why. Got to sort that out for next week. Keep staying there. As I said with you guys, what you need to do when you're studying, don't study for too long at a time. Remember, at 45 minutes to an hour is your sweet spot. I know you guys think studying for 2 hours, you're getting more done in that time. You're not. You're learning less. So it's about quality. Don't be afraid of messing up. So if you're taking mock tests or any category tests and you're getting a low score, as I keep saying, you now got data. So what you want to do is just literally use that and build on it. It's about learning from mistakes. If you're not learning, then you've got a problem. But if you're learning, so if you get 37 today but 38 tomorrow, it's one better than you did the previous day. You are making progress. You are getting better at something. So do not be afraid to make mistakes. But as I said, understand the questions, understand the answers. But when I say understand the question, understand the answers, understand why you are getting the answer wrong. And then understand why the answer is correct. Don't go looking for the right answer. Try to understand why the answer is right. You have to eliminate why you got that question wrong. And only then the brain starts to say, right, you know what, I fully understand that. I will never put that again, which means you now got a better chance of passing. If you don't eliminate that, the why bit, you're going to always struggle. So just last couple of comments have come in. Let me just do this. I'm trying to pass the ADI test, but I've failed 3 times and I've lost interest. Well, you haven't lost interest because you're here. It's the most important thing. You just think you've lost interest, which is standard. With the ADI, I don't know what you are doing because, again, the ADI test is a lot bit harder. It's 100 questions. And if it hasn't changed, because I've done mine 30 years ago, it's you need 85% across the 4 bands, A, B, C, D. Again, I'd use the 4-in-1 app and change. If you haven't already, go to the settings and change the questions to ADI questions. That's why I love that app so much, because it's all in one. Make sure you've got the questions set to the ADI question, not learn the questions, because instructor questions are slightly different. And you're looking for the safest option. That doesn't change. You're looking for the safest option. But again, you have the data if you failed 3 times. But if you lose an interest, then you've got to ask yourself, is it a job for you? Because it's a job you need to be passionate about. Like I am. That's why I'm here on a Sunday. I'm doing the theory side of it. When I got work on tomorrow, the driving side of it. So you got to ask yourself questions. But like I said, if you it doesn't seem like you lost interest because you're here. That's the most important thing. So go to the app if you haven't already changed the settings and go for the understanding. But again, if you fail 3 times, you've got the information there. Look at what you're failing on, which bands you're failing, whether it's A, B, C or D, and then go from there. Or find a driving school that can sponsor you, because you're going to need sponsoring for the second part, stage 2 and stage 3. I forgot what they call it now, but stage 1 is the theory test, stage 2 is driving test, and the stage 3 is instructional. So you're going to need a sponsor from a driving school for those. Try to find one that's going to help you with that. But I wish you luck with it. You have a good Sunday too. No problem. I did not quite understand when you say we pass, then dump to practical, then pass, but the documentation. That was just something I tried to explain. If you don't understand it, it's not relevant. It's just something I tried to explain why you need the theory test all the way through from start to finish. If you don't understand, it's not an issue. It doesn't affect the learning. She's having practicals. Yeah, keep me informed on how she's getting on. It's nice to know that she's doing well. All right. So, okay, let's get rid of this manually. Right, so have a good Sunday. I really enjoyed today's session. Really enjoyed it. One of the best we've done for a long while. So long may it continue. Have a safe week, whatever you guys to do, whatever things you guys decide to do, struggling my words. If you've got a test coming up, I wish you the best of luck, but please turn up next week. Let us know how you got on. The rest of you guys turn up Sunday with your questions while you're studying. Jot them down and let me answer it for you. But go off and have a safe week, and I shall see you next Sunday, 10 a.m. Take care.